clear he's not afraid to explore his options with other teams willing to pay the type of money that he may not receive from Boston. The Red Sox have plenty of money to spend now after their deal with the Dodgers, but that money will most likely be spent elsewhere, like places of need, starting pitching and bullpen help. You've seen how bad the Red Sox have been on both those ends this season. They just recently fired their pitching coach, Bob McClure, so either way, it should be an interesting offseason for both the Red Sox and David Ortiz. It's truly a sad thing if we really have seen the last of Ortiz. As we get to some other news around Major League Baseball, it was the Arizona Diamondbacks shipping Joe Saunders to the Orioles for reliever Matt Lindstrom, eager to bolster an inexperienced pitching staff during their first playoff run since 1997. The Baltimore Orioles acquired Saunders on Sunday. They claimed him off waivers and worked out a deal last night for the left-hander. So definitely, with Jason Hamlet being out for a while now, really no starter with stretch run and playoff experience to keep the Orioles in this race. If they do make it to the playoffs, they have a guy who's, been there before and has pitched there recently last season with the Diamondbacks and a couple seasons back with the Angels, getting as much as experience as far as the American League Championship Series. So definitely a good deal for the Diamondbacks and the Orioles, as both fit their needs, as the Diamondbacks get Lindstrom, a former closer and former member of Team USA for the World Baseball Classic a couple years back. Vin Scully, 84-year-old, one of baseball's most beloved broadcasters, is once again gonna try it another season. The Dodgers' legendary announcer has announced that he is going to return to the Dodgers booth in 2013. Who knows if this is sparked by the big deal that the Dodgers just made and the chances of their World Series, going through the roof right now because of such a scary lineup they have there, and the addition of Josh Beckett and, Vin. Something I heard when I visited Dodger Stadium about a month ago is that Vin's waiting to go out on top, and you'd like to see, for Vin Scully's sake, the Dodgers return to the World Series so he could call it one more time instead of having to listen to Joe Buck and Tim McCarver. It's just not something that a lot of us out here like to listen to. Joey Votto, who hasn't played in, it seems like, forever, is expected to rehab in a game at Single-A Dayton. Cincinnati Reds first baseman is scheduled to make his first rehab appearance Tuesday for Single-A, and he is attempting a comeback from 2 surgical procedures on his left knee. He will need to be activated before September 1st, and it looks like that will happen. So, good news for the Reds there. Chris Volstad, as we talked about, finally got his first win. This was his 14th crack at win number 1. He was 0-6 with a 7.46 ERA coming into the game. His last outing before this one on August 19th in Cincinnati resulted in a no decision. Cubs ended up losing that game. Volstad now 3-3 in his career against the Rockies, and it's gonna be it's cool for Chris Volstad, who was nearing a very bad record to have, with the longest drought of not having a win, because he hasn't had one since he was a member of the Florida Marlins, not the Miami Marlins, the Florida Marlins. So that shows you how hard it's been coming for Chris Volstad. Quick check in Los Angeles. They have Steve Cishek into the game, facing Mark Ellis right now. 2 on, 2 outs, 6-2 game. If Ellis gets on, we're going to try to take you out there to Dodger Stadium live, and that would be Shane Victorino as the potential tying run at the plate. So we'll keep you updated on that game. Let's check out the standings now in the American League. Only 2 division races really worth watching. The Yankees lead Tampa by 4 and Baltimore by 4.5. Chicago leads Detroit by 2 in the Central, and Texas seemingly has the American League West wrapped up. A 6-game lead over Oakland, 10 games over the Angels, in the National League. It's still kind of a race out there. You never know with an inexperienced Washington team coming down the stretch here. Atlanta only 5 games back. That has a chance to be 4.5 by the end of the night if the Braves can knock off the Giants, as that game is going to be underway in about 5 minutes from now. So, big Sunday night game on ESPN. All of a sudden, the St. Louis Cardinals have snuck up to be 6 back of Cincinnati in the Central. Not really, a threat, but the Cardinals sent somewhat of a message to the Reds this weekend by taking 2 out of 3. And of course, you have that race out west. The Giants, a 2-game lead over the Dodgers, and if the Marlins can hold on and the Giants can win tonight, which the Marlins have just won the game, A.J. Ellis flied out to right field with men on first and second, so the Marlins avoid a sweep at Chavez Ravine and will go to 2.5 back in the NL West. And the Giants, depending on how they do tonight, that'll be 3 or 2 games when you wake up and read the stats and the standings in the morning. In the wild card, the race that everybody's interested in, it's about a 4-team race in both leagues with a couple of outsiders with outside chances. You have Atlanta, St. Louis at the 2 spots in the National League. The Dodgers a game and a half behind St. Louis now. Pittsburgh 2 back of St. Louis now, as we have some inclement weather. As you heard right there, some wind coming in. So right there, you have the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are 4-6 in their last 10, only with a plus 11 run differential in the season now, and are 30-34 on the road, 13 games over 500 at home at PNC Park. So, the Pirates are unfortunately starting to fall off, but I think, coming into the season, I think it was 17 or 18 straight losing seasons. The Pirates are trying to get their first winning season since the early 90s in the days of Barry Bonds. We'll be talking about him tonight in about a couple hours on Sam Rosen's show. In the American League, you have Tampa Bay, Oakland, and Baltimore still at a 3-way tie on the top, with Baltimore getting their game postponed today. Detroit is a half game behind them, and the Angels 4 games behind them. And the Angels lost 2 in a row, 4-6 in their last 10. Did go 4-2 on their road trip, but it just seems like this team has just become almost a waste of talent. I mean, you go through every part of that team, and they do have a good bullpen, they do have a good starting rotation, and they do have a good lineup, but the starting pitching has not been pitching enough innings so that the bullpen can relax a little bit. The bullpen's been called upon too early in too many games this season for the Angels, and that's what's really hurt them, and that's why they're only 4 games over 500 this late into the season. So certainly something to watch out for there. Things to watch for tomorrow: you got to watch Josh Beckett make his debut for the Dodgers. His ERA is around 5, but of course he's still Josh Beckett, and maybe a change of scenery will help him, but that game's going to be in Colorado, so the ball definitely does fly there, and you should watch out for that. And so that's pretty much it. We've had all the finals. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. 25-minute show today. Real brief, not too entertaining. I mean, it is what it is sometimes, but just got to keep you fans informed of what has happened in the day of Major League Baseball. I'm Chris Sylvester. Thanks for tuning in. You've just been listening to the MLB Postgame on Spreaker.com.